Hi, I'm Simone Reyes, and I'm the only one that got the call to save the cows.
So we are talking to Simone Reyes again. Simone, hi, how are you?
Hi, so good to see you again.
So good to see you again. This is actually our first time seeing each other in person, even though we've heard each other. Not in person, but virtually. But we get to see each other's expressions while we talk, which is so cool. And you're so lovely to look at. So I wanted to know, because you were, let's see, what episode was it? It was last summer, episode 56, season number 6. You were the only animal activist in country music. So everybody that's listening, go back and check out that episode. But I wanted to ask you what country songs you've been rocking this summer.
Oh my gosh. Well, Jason Aldean and Carrie Underwood just came out with a song, like literally, I think yesterday, and it's blown my mind. It's an incredible love song. Just, why do I still love you type of thing.
Yeah.
And
you
I
can
love
sing that for us,
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pass.
But no, but I mean, I have my, of course, I'm always playing Dolly Parton. It doesn't matter what summer it is, right? I mean, of course, Dolly. Right? She's the queen. But and I've also been really like into old Reba, like 90s Reba. Like she's so badass,
Yeah. And timeless though, right?
She's completely timeless. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember just, being so young and hearing her voice and just thinking I'd never heard a voice like that before, and she had such strength and conviction in her voice.
Yes.
So yeah, 90s country and I have been getting along really well this summer. Love it.
Well, great. I love that. And we have to go check out that new song. Tell me who it is again.
Oh, Jason Aldean and Carrie Underwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I like
awesome.
Carrie Underwood. I don't know who he is, but I'm not into
Carrie
country
Underwood
music.
is a beautiful female singer.
No, I know her, but him I don't
Jason
know.
Aldean, you don't know?
No.
Oh wow, yeah, he's a big deal. He's a big deal in country music.
I'll check it out.
He's awesome.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I would like it if he stopped hunting, though. I'll throw that in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I am Laura Cathcart Robbins, and this is the Only One in the Room special Sunday edition. But I'm never the only one in this room because, as usual, my boyfriend, producer, and co-host, Scott Slaughter, who I call Hun, is here as well.
Hi, honey.
Hey, honey. So, like I said, you remember our interview with Simone Reyes last summer.
I do.
I had to ask her to come back on the show because I was following this story. It was a story of, I call it the Manning beef cows. But they really didn't belong to them. But that was the headline that flashed across my screen. Mm-hmm. And they broke out of a slaughterhouse in Pico Rivera, which is here in the Los Angeles area where we all live, where Scott, Simone, and I live. And they tried to run to safety. So, first let me just tell you a little bit about Simone before I get into the story. Simone, and you'll see why she's here, is a 25-year plus vegan. By the way, Scotty and I are going on a year and 3 months.
Yeah, almost 15 months, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
With your help and your support this year, so we appreciate you. And Simone has been a grassroots animal rights activist for most of her adult life. She traveled to Taiji, Japan, as the Sea Shepherd Cove Guardian to report on and document the atrocities of the dolphin drives. She has also been honored by Mercy for Animals for the work she's done to put the plight of farm animals in the public's consciousness. Simone has been instrumental in negotiating the release of several cows out of a local slaughterhouse in Los Angeles and getting them into a sanctuary. PETA's animal, I'm sorry, one second. I have to move this over. Sorry. PETA's animal, is it Rahat? Rahat? How do you?
I think Rahat, I think is how it's pronounced.
Rahat?
Yeah.
PETA's animal Rahat Sanctuary in India was officially given a new name, Simone's Place, in honor of Simone's tireless dedication to the animal rights cause. That is incredible.
Wow.
That is really incredible. Welcome, Simone. Welcome on the show.
you.
We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Oh, and Simone has also authored 3 books and is recently embarked on a career as a country singer, which is what she talks about on our previous episode. She resides in Laurel Canyon with her rescue cat, Bardot.
Yes.
How is Bardot doing?
She's doing great. She loves any kind of lockdown, because she gets mommy home all the time. So
all the time.
Yeah, she loves it. She loves it.
So she's in cat heaven. Not literally, but
paradise. Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, she is.
All right. So here's what I'm going to read to you. Here's the headline that I woke up to whatever morning that was this summer. Last week, the world watched and cheered as videos of 39 cows making a daring escape from the Pico Rivera slaughterhouse went viral. People were rooting for the cows, as were Scott and I, as they made their prison break. On Thursday morning, the last remaining cow was corralled, but will live thanks to the award-winning songwriter Diane Warren, activist Simone Reyes, and the farm Sanctuary. So, like I was telling you, Simone, Scotty and I were 2 of the people that were watching that story so closely. I came running downstairs every morning to see where these cows were and to see what was happening with them. It was like this real life, like, I don't know, like some kind of animal superhero animation, like come to life. Like these cows broke away from a situation where they were going to be, it's a slaughterhouse. So there's no worse word that you need to put in there. They were going to be murdered, but it's a slaughterhouse. They were going to be slaughtered for their meat so that people could eat them. Sorry. Sorry, I inhaled the wrong way. And they broke out and they ran for their lives. And yeah, so I was so moved by that, and it was so emotional, I felt. And so I wanted to have you come on just to tell us the story of how you found out about it, when you got the call, what happened, and then kind of go from there.
Well, when it happened, animal rights activists all over the globe said, of course, if a cow or any animal in a slaughterhouse has even a sliver of a chance to escape, they're going to take it. These cows are not unique in that way. In almost every state where you have animals being killed, which is every state here, there are stories of animals who have escaped, whether it's a goat or a chicken or cows. Actually, as we speak right now in Suffolk County, there's a cow that escaped a slaughterhouse on the loose. And thankfully, wow. Whenever he is found, and hopefully he will be found safely, he will also go to Sanctuary. It's very obvious when an animal escapes from a slaughterhouse that people, of course, are riveted to the story. In this particular story, it wasn't just one cow. It was, we thought 39 cows, but it was actually 41. Mm-hmm. And when we heard about it, we were riveted to the story, and of course my phone started ringing off the hook. Once they found out that it was Manning Beef, people knew in the community that I have a very good relationship with the owner of Manning Beef. We have actually forged.
Yeah, I want to know about that, because I saw that on your Instagram post. I don't understand how you have a good relationship with the owner of a slaughterhouse.
A lot of people don't, and you're probably referencing a photo of myself and some of the instrumental people in helping save these cows' lives at Crossroads, where we had dinner with him.
Yes, yes.
And I have tried to explain this. It is an unusual friendship, of course. Fundamentally, our belief systems are on 2 opposite ends of the spectrum, right? But being an animal rights activist is first and foremost about nonviolence, right? Tolerance, acceptance, compassion. When I met Anthony originally, it was at his slaughterhouse. And I was with Kat Von D, and I was with Russell Simmons, and I was with Sean Munson and Amy Jean Davis, and a lot of other very instrumental people in the movement. And I was there, and I was horrified. I was hysterical crying, and we were, we were viewing, things that were unspeakable. But as animal rights activists, we bear witness. If an animal, even if we can't save an animal, at least we are there to bear witness to their suffering, to their lives, and in that way we can tell their stories and make them activists. Their lives are never in vain, especially if we can tell their stories. And everybody, I will say, who is in that group handled it much differently. Russell started making, weird, inappropriate jokes. Kat Von D seemed to be frozen. She wasn't able to say or do anything. I broke out into tears. It was all different. And Anthony DiMaria, who owns the Slaughterhouse, came over to me and he said, this is a business for me. It's not that I want to be in the business of killing animals. It's a business. And he said, you won't find anything that happens in the slaughterhouse that isn't by the book. My first reaction was, it's murder. None of it's by the book. The book needs to be thrown away and trashed. Yeah. But he said, I respect all of you. And so much so that I've invited you here. And I was still crying and very angry and very upset. And he said, I'll prove to you that I respect you. And the next time an opportunity presents itself, you will get a call from me and I will allow you to save an animal from the slaughterhouse. And I just sort of didn't think anything of it, maybe he was just trying to get me to stop crying, or I don't know. And about 2 months later at 6:30 in the morning, I got a text from him. And he said, there's a mother cow here, and this is not usual. It certainly happens, but it's not usual, who's just given birth to a baby. And there's something in Anthony that he couldn't kill that baby. He couldn't send that baby to slaughter. Whatever it is in his heart that made him call somebody that he knew would be able to get that baby out. Of course, the first thing I said was, not without the mother. And we were able to negotiate out mom and baby, and they now live at Farm Sanctuary, and they're very happy, and they live a beautiful life. Actually, those two actually went to Diane Warren's. The next cow that we got out went to Farm Sanctuary. So because there aren't a lot of, I can guarantee you, there are not a lot of slaughterhouse workers or people who own slaughterhouses who, number one, open up dialogues with animal rights activists. I'm sure we're quite annoying to them. We have vigils outside their businesses all the time. We're, constantly, there's bad press that are being put out there, rightfully so. It's an industry that we don't support. However, because Anthony and I and the other people that you saw in that photograph at Crossroads have been able to have a relationship with him, and we know his backstory, which is actually quite interesting, and we've I've seen him cry. I have made a human connection with him, and the part of Anthony that I have connected to is that part that he has, which is open, which is, I will help you save an animal when it's feasible, when it's possible.
Wow.
So because of that, and nobody understands it, and I can tell you right now, and I know we're sort of going around the story, but Diane Warren, of course, when she was invited to that dinner, Diane Warren's legendary songwriter, every song you've heard on the radio, she's pretty much written. Yes. And she was very much like, I don't know that I can do this, I don't know. And after 15 minutes of sitting with Anthony, talking about things that didn't involve animals, talking about his life and the struggles that he's had and the loss of his father and things that connect people on a human level, she said, I never thought I'd say this, but I really, really like Anthony. And I said, well, that's Anthony. It's just, that's sort of, how it is. And because now she's friends with him and I'm friends with him, I have no doubt that that he will allow us to rescue more animals that he, for whatever reason, speak to his heart and he can't send to slaughter.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's sort of how it came about. Yeah, that's sort of how it came. So when all these cows had escaped, my phone was ringing off the hook. Anthony, get us those cows. It was a lot of pressure because I knew in my heart that we weren't going to be able to get all 39, or now as we know 41. I knew that really wasn't going to happen. But I felt that perhaps we could get someone out, And so I immediately texted Anthony, and he was in the hospital, and he had been injured in the Stampede, I guess you would call it. And he was very injured. He was going into surgery the next day. He was in a lot of pain. And he said, "I will get back to you." That, I knew he would get back to me, but I'm a go-getter, right, when it comes to animals. And I thought, I'm getting calls from everybody I know, Diane Warren being, probably the most famous person who called me. And I thought, Diane has some of his cows, and maybe she can just be the little push that even through his pain will help him really nail it down to that we're definitely going to get a cow. And when would that be? And can we, and as soon as they're rounded up, when can that happen? And so she said, I'll give it a try, and I think he was surprised that Diane Warren was calling him, and he picked up the phone, and they started talking, and she said, they had a nice conversation, and she got off the phone, and she said, "These are the city officials that are handling the roundup. Take it from here." And I did. I called up this amazing manager of Pico Rivera, of the town of Pico Rivera, named Steve Carmona. Yes. And he said, there's nothing more that I want than for all of these cows to go to Sanctuary, and we're going to do everything that we can to get that. And I was just blown away, because who is this person? And he's incredible. And when you take an animal out of a slaughterhouse, there's a lot of red tape, and you have to do it by the book, which means you have to be filling out a lot of paperwork at the USDA, and the city was involved, and everybody was involved. So once we had word that one of the cows had been shot and killed by law enforcement, and once we saw in the news that they were being rounded up, we didn't know what would happen and if we would get any of those cows. But there was one that was sort of at large, and that cow was the last to be rounded up. And that's the cow that sort of really wrapped around everybody's hearts, because you think to yourself, she really went like the extra mile, if you will, literally and figuratively, to get away and to stay hidden. And people saw her capture and saw how fiercely she was protecting her life and her body.
Oh, that capture made me cry.
It made all of us cry.
Yeah. Because they had her by her neck, and then there was another rope around her feet. Was that it?
Yeah.
It was just like,
she was
it made me
fiercely
cry.
defending her body and her life and her right to live.
Yeah.
And Diane Warren said, well, obviously that's going to be the cow that we're going to get. And we did. Steve helped facilitate it. Technically, the cow was released to the city of Pico Rivera. And then we got all the paperwork done, and I had Sanctuaries, which is so wonderful, calling me from all over the country, saying that they wanted to provide sanctuary to this one cow. I have had a long, long relationship with Farm Sanctuary. I started protesting with Gene Bauer, who's the founder of Farm Sanctuary back in the 90s. So we're good friends. And when you deal with any animal that's taken out of a slaughterhouse, as I said, there's a lot of red tape. And so I really wanted to go to the top, which is the oldest farm sanctuary, which is Farm Sanctuary, to make sure that every T was crossed and every I was dotted. So that it was an easy decision for me to choose Farm Sanctuary to do this. And they were incredible. They, my friends, just, Michelle Cho and their entire staff there, Ashley and Marie and everybody that we dealt with there, just jumped into action, and we were able to get her out within 48 hours. And she was separated from all of the other cows, and there's drone footage that showed her. She was separated because we wanted to make sure that that the information we were getting back was accurate, because Anthony was in surgery, and
Right.
It was hard to know if, just because he had said it, of course, he's the boss, but he's in surgery. So we wanted to absolutely make sure. And we were like, there was activists there, and they were sort of looking in with their binoculars. And I saw some drone footage that apparently somebody had taken, and she was, in fact, separated from the crowd. And then Farm Sanctuary sent a trailer and was able to get her. She, of course, was extremely terrified of people, as anybody would imagine she would be. Yeah. Terrified. But we've seen that before, and we've seen them come around, and that's the beauty of Sanctuary, right? People often say, well, what's the difference? You can go to a farm sanctuary, and you can pet the cows or chickens or pigs or whatever on a weekend. What's the difference of a petting zoo or a zoo? And that is the difference. Animals get to choose at a sanctuary. The entire setup of a sanctuary that even allows visitors on perhaps one day a week is done so that an animal can say, not today, and walk away, and nobody follows them or corrals them or forces them to be, manhandled or pet or whatever it is. That is not sanctuary. Yeah. And that is the difference. So
it's like more donation dependent than admission price dependent.
Yes,
right?
You might go to a sanctuary, which isn't common, but every animal might say no that day, and that is absolutely fine. Right. But usually, they love the attention because it's also at any farm sanctuary. It's done in a very tiny bit of time, usually once a week for a couple of hours. It is not a petting zoo that you can go at any time of day or night, or transporting them around, or like the horrors that we see with traveling animal acts and all of that. It's not. So that's the beauty of Sanctuary. They can say no. But lots of times they love to have children, giving them kisses and things like that. And they really seem to understand that they're ambassadors of compassion,
That's awesome. Yeah. So I was going to read a post. It's your post. Reading your post. Let me just pull it up here. So the post says, here they are. Let me see. Can you guys see this? Yeah. Here they are. They ran for their lives and stole the hearts of millions. This story was a leading news story internationally when they, along with 39 others, told the world that animals want to live. That's all in caps. With the generosity of #ManningBeef, these two were spared. They have no idea how loved they are, or perhaps they do. Thank you to all who helped us get them free. And then you have a lot of names here. So can you tell me the story of the second cow? Because all we've just heard about is the first one. So tell us the second.
We had no idea that there was a second cow. Talk about, a will to live. She went undercover for over a week. Nobody spotted a cow in a residential area. Where was she?
Where does a cow hide?
We don't know. We don't know. We still don't know what she was up to in that week. We do know that she did not have adequate access to water or food, so she was emaciated. We do know that she was stressed and terrified. But I'll never forget, I was walking down the street, and I got a call from Anthony, who was feeling better. He was on the mend. I think he was still in the hospital, but he was on the mend. And he said, I'm here with Steve, who is now like my favorite person because he was such an amazing man. And the reports that you're hearing on the news, because of course I had texted him, are true. There is another cow. And Steve said, I'm working with ManningBeef, and we're going to do everything that we can to get a safe capture. And that was really what we all started praying on. Please let it be a safe, because one had been killed by law enforcement just the week earlier. So that was always very scary. What's going to happen? If they're anywhere in the vicinity of a human, really bad things can happen when people assume that they're going to hurt a human, even though that assumption is usually completely wrong. But of course, that was our fear. And then we got the call that she had been safely corralled and transported back to ManningBeef. And Anthony told me that not only, was she safe, but of course she would be given sanctuary. And which was amazing, because all animals have to be quarantined when they go into any rescue at all. And so this, June BeFree, which is her name, She was going to be alone in quarantine, and there was also talk of her possibly being alone forever. We're not sure what happened with that because of certain restrictions about the time that she was in the slaughterhouse and the inoculations that she'd gotten and all of that. And again, Farm Sanctuary being the best place, they would do everything that they can to put her in the herd. And we think that's what's going to happen. But, this poor, June BeFree would be quarantined all by herself. Of course, she would have humans there, but she doesn't love humans yet, right?
Right.
So the fact that she would have a sister and from her own herd, who certainly, they know each other. People don't realize how intelligent cows are. Cows not only have the cognitive ability of, being able to recognize 50 animals from their herd. They can recognize human faces. They can pull levers to give themselves grain or work water fountains to give themselves water. They're extremely intelligent. In the wild, people don't even think about this, but you hear about the wolf packs and you hear about how sophisticated they are. Well, it's very similar in a cow herd. When you have a cow that's going to be sort of the matriarch or the head of the cow herd, they're chosen not by chance. A cow herd gets their leader by choosing the one that has the best social skills with the other members of the herd. The other, you might have a big sort of, giant cow that doesn't know how to play nice all the time with the herd and doesn't make the best decisions all the time, just as with humans, right? Some are born leaders, some are followers. They have that. They also have one of the strongest maternal instincts of any animal. When veal calves are being taken away, it is normal, absolutely normal, to have that mother cow do everything that she can to get her body in the way of whoever is taking her baby. Then she will follow the transport trucks. We've seen it all on Instagram and Facebook posts, following the transport trucks, and she will cry for several days or several weeks until she knows that she's not getting her baby back.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll also tell one really quick story, if I could, about something I saw personally. I had rescued, along with help, of course, of other activists, but a mother and a baby from a slaughterhouse, and the baby didn't make it. She passed away. And we left the baby with her because we felt that just as any mother needs to process such, a really strong loss, we left the baby with her overnight so that she could grieve privately until we moved her into another sanctuary. And we came back the next morning, and the person that lived at the property who left her alone said, of course, she cried all night. And then every little twig or leaf she had used to bury her baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling that story.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about is true. I know this on some level, but I didn't know that intimately, that these were the human traits that cow. I mean, I don't know if they're human traits, but they're traits that I attribute to humans that you're talking about these cows having. I hope that a lot of people share this episode so that more people can hear and understand that these are not burgers. They are these beautiful beings that have love and compassion and leadership qualities and follower qualities, and are communal and friendly and community oriented. What was the name of the first cow?
That was rescued at Manning?
Yeah.
That's June BeFree. And
that's June BeFree.
Well, but Diane Warren at first was calling her Free because Diane has a beautiful song called Free. And then one of their donors had asked if she could name her, and they said sure. And so she ended up with like a hyphenated name of June BeFree, which is a great name. And the other cow that was rescued, her name is Susan. And that was a donor of Farm Sanctuary that passed away. So they wanted to honor her by naming the second cow Susan. And then the other two cows, the one that passed away, I had named them. And I named the mom Jackie over Jackie Onassis, and the baby who passed away, John. So,
oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. What an incredible story. I'm so glad you came on to tell it. I really respect your work so much. I enjoy your Instagram posts. They make me more aware.
Yay.
Tell me where people can find you, because I want them to be able to follow you too.
Well, at Simone Reyes is on Twitter or on Instagram, and then if you like country music, that would be at Simone Reyes Music.
Okay, great. And then just right as we close, tell me the best thing, besides the fact that these 2 cows are safe, to come out of this whole thing.
Oh, the best thing was the media attention, which was, first of
Yes.
all, completely free, which is always lovely. And the fact that when you have a collective community of people who eat meat, that was the most people that I was hearing from. People who eat meat, drink dairy, who were rooting for cows who wanted, to live. That's huge, because that means that a seed was planted in them that says, I'm eating the energy of an animal that until the last moment is fighting for her last breath. That's not a good energy to consume on any level. We all know about endorphins. We know what our own bodies can do when we are subjected to stress, and how that can lead to disease, and how that can skyrocket our blood pressure and all of these things. That is what we are eating when we consume meat. That is what we are drinking when we drink dairy.
That is a good last word, Miss Simone. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And hopefully we'll get to have another follow-up when you rescue some other animals that we see on the news, okay?
Yes, I'm sure we will.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Simone. Yep.
Bye.